All right, there we go. Welcome, everyone. This evening. Let's get this way a little. This way. Welcome to the stream. Tonight I'll be doing some fantasy scene generations. So stuff for either DMs or people looking into making illustrative kind of pictures. This camera straight. There we go. And so I'm using tonight, for the most part, the Dream Shaper version 6.3 as my checkpoint. I don't have a VA use because this has one baked in. So just for viewers to understand how this comes up here, if you look under settings, under user interface, you'll see that you can add in a number of things. So I like to have VAEs, which can enhance certain checkpoints and models. And then I have some other things for, my own personal. I have clip skip here, which I use for 2 for animation and 1 for video and whatnot. So that's just some basic stuff right there. All right. So welcome those viewers that are here. Hopefully some more people will show up, and if not, they can watch some of this on YouTube. So tonight we're going to do some generations that I got a list from, you guessed it, ChatGPT. So I asked it, you are an expert at fantasy, RPGs, and campaign settings. Give me 10 interesting locations. And so it did. Gave me 10 wonderful locations. I've placed them here, along with some a variety of different types of scenes stuff. So let's go over a few things first. So I'll be using this sampler method here, SDNext. Dim is also pretty good, as is Euler A for this particular model. I like to do about 30 steps. You don't really have to do too many. I do a high-res fix with a latent upscaler, upscale by 2. Sometimes only 1. If I want to make it go, since we're online streaming, I'm going to make it go a little fast. We'll do 1.5. You always want to have denoising strength at least 0.5, in my opinion. Otherwise, the picture comes out blurry. These other options I don't really use too much. And should we make them widescreen since they're scenes? Let's make them widescreen. So, and I think that is this all off. Yep. Okay, widescreen it is then. Okay, so first let's get our negative prompt. So for scenes, the negative prompt is going to be different than it's going to be for a body. So when we have people, we have all sorts of negative prompts that we have to have in there, that we have to have, things for hands and anatomical weirdness and whatnot. But for scenes, we don't really have to have that many things. And in fact, one of the things we want to have here are people, characters, faces, animals are okay, hands, humans. Let's add a few things in there. Okay. And so then let's take our first one here. Okay. And notice that, okay, let's talk about weighting. When you have a single bracket, it makes the weighting 1.1. It is as if I do this. Okay? So very often you'll see that many of my prompts have brackets all over the place with various weightings. And that's called prompt tuning, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But cinematic of the something, professional painting by, and then a number of artists trending on ArtStation, intricate. Some of these are in an interesting order. I usually have let's take this. I always like to keep these guys at the end. Style by. It's better if these have and. There we go. Just copy that so I can save that for later. There we go, fixed. Okay, so then our first location, the Crystal Caverns, a sprawling underground network of glittering. So let's just try that to see what comes out, and I'll arrange that a little. Cinematic of a sprawling underground network of fungi, and then let's add in mushrooms, stalactites, stalagmites. That's fine. Lichen, ruby, diamond, emerald. All right, and let's see what it comes out with there. Notice how, for instance, for weighting, here we have 1.2 for this particular group of words here. 1.4 to keep that most important. Generally speaking, it forms the most important of the prompt, or the beginning and the end. At least that's what I found. So here we go. Interesting. We've got some sunlight. Looks pretty good. So let's just tune it for a minute. And let's say I want more of these gems, because I didn't see them enough. Emeralds, that's why I didn't see that one enough. Let's put this at 1.4. And let's generate again. So it might have thought that Ruby was the name of someone. So let's go ahead and put humans, people, characters. Let's get this. There we go. Interesting. So something about the names of those gemstones. So let's try instead gemstones. Let's just try 1.2. Huh. Now let's add in here fantasy RPG. We'll move on to another one if this one doesn't come out correct. Let's see how we can get it though. Oh, here we go. It's not really underground cavern. Still an interesting picture. See, it might try to make it into a cavern. We'll see. Lichen is bringing out a lot of trees. So as you can see, you might turn lichen down. I might go over here and go 0.5. Although this picture came out pretty cool. It's a pretty cool picture right there. All right, so let's go on to another. Let's try this one. It's a much simpler prompt. Only has one artist. Let's see, time of day. So let's see what we got for our second one here. The Floating Gardens. A series of interconnected floating islands covered in lush vegetation. So take that, copy. So let's do this. Let's take let's do a stylized graphic novel illustration of interconnected floating islands, lush vegetation, exotic wildlife. Let's give this one 1.2. Here we go. Let's give this golden hour as time of day. And let's see how this one comes out. Well, it was an interesting prompt. A series of floating islands, each covered in lush vegetation and exotic wildlife, and it looks like that's what we're going to get. Give it a moment. And as you can see, this artist style, Michael Whelan. Oh, very interesting picture. Let's do one more. You can see it. First 50% is making the picture, and the second 50% is the high-res fix, which basically upscales it latently and changes it only a little. Oh, that one's pretty cool too. That one looks very much like something from an MMO almost. Okay, so let's go on. Let's try a natural scene. So what do we have for our scene? The Clockwork City. Let's pick a natural one, the Feywild Forest, for this one. And let's call this one a airbrush portrait. At the beginning of your prompt, usually you want to have some sort of medium. Airbrush portrait of magical forest. Fey crossings. Feywild. Fairies. Refractions, water type. Let's say waterfalls, forests. Temperature colors. Let's put warm colors. Fantastic colors. Ant view gives an interesting thing. Natural time of day. Let's put midday. Alright, let's check and see how this one comes out. This is a very simple prompt. Sometimes simple prompts come out very beautiful, though. This particular one is a little more photorealistic. What settings am I using to generate these? I'm using this sampling method here, DPM2 cross. There's a lot of different types of samplers. They do different things and are better at different things. For instance, 2M is better at photos and whatnot. Sampling steps is a number of steps it takes to make the picture, how many iterations it goes through. CFG determines how much it sticks to the prompt. The higher the CFG, the more it'll try to make exactly what's in the prompt. But I find that I like having CFG usually around 7 for creativity and 15 if I need to do something more exact like in painting. The seed is number -1, which means random. And batch count means 1 picture if I wanted to make 3 of that prompt. In fact, I'll do that in a moment. And then the width and height widescreen here. So as you can see here, it made a pretty realistic looking picture. So let's make a batch. I like that. We'll make a batch there. Okay. And I'm going to show now you guys something with something called dynamic prompts. So combinational generation. This is a extension, dynamic prompts. I'm going to turn that on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to this. Instead of batch count, I'm going to go over here. So inside here, if you look closely, I have curly Q brackets and then 4. Oh, I have a lot of them. I don't want that many. Hold on. Model sheets. I want stylized graphic illustration, airbrush portrait. Yep, that one. And that's 4. Those 4 are fine. And what that will do is make 1 picture, those 3, of each of those types. And so in addition, I will also make a batch count of 2. So it will make 2 of each. So 6 pictures total. 2 of these, 2 of these, and we'll generate. While that's working. Let's see what else can I tell you about settings. CodeFormer and GFP GAN. So these are settings that allow you to fix when faces are coming out with problems, especially with eyes and things like that. CodeFormer works better for, in my opinion, photorealism, while GFP GAN works better for animation, illustrative kind of things. Interestingly, CodeFormer, when you want to only have it on a little bit, you have to put effect to 1. It's kind of a weird, I don't know why they have that counterintuitively, but whatever, it doesn't matter. These other settings only work if you use these extra upscalers in here. And then you can see I have some other extensions. This adds detail. Tile diffusion in VA is something for upscaling. Additional networks allows me to use other LoRa's and whatnot things. Control net that allows me to do poses. Cutoff allows me to keep colors and stuff in certain areas. And self-actuated, self-attention guidance I haven't checked out yet. I got to check that out still. So here we go. We're almost done with our group of photos. Did I have combinational generation on? Oh, it only did 3 for some reason, so I'll have to, let's see. What did I do wrong here? Perhaps this can't be inside here. Perhaps this can't have a space. So let's do a batch count of 2. So looks like it did 3 of each. So let's see what we got here. We got this first one. Looks a little cartoony, but not too bad. Oh, that one looks much more realistic. So that would be the airbrush portrait. And then the hyper-realistic. That looks like more like a highly detailed art to me. So let's try the batch count. Let's try it once more. Yes, you could. You could. In fact, you could take a picture and using ControlNet, you could, or image to image, you could get something that could do in a different style. We could, in fact, try that. Once this is done generating, we'll give that a try. Okay, so let's see what we got here. That one came out pretty interesting. Looks a little cartoony again, but not too bad. The second one seems to come out, the airbrush seems to come out the most realistic. And although that third one, although this water must really be spilling over hard. So, okay, so let's take that second one. Let's send that to image. Okay, so now we have this in our image to image area. So let's go ahead and let's make sure that we keep the same settings. This is going to be this one, right? Sampling steps. Okay, so let's turn on ControlNet. Let's do it with let's try it with Canny first. First, you know what? First, we'll try it without ControlNet. So here I'm going to change. This is going to be airbrush portrait of a dark forbidden haunted magical forest. Now let's change these to ghosts, spirits, hauntings, refractions, whatever, dark colors, scary colors, midnight, full moon. All right, and let's see with using, we're going to go to over here to denoise to 8 to let it do, let's make it 7. Let's let it turn this up to maybe 9. All right, let's give this a shot. See what happens. And there we go, Luda-Gemma. So let me show you. Hold on. So here we go. We have the original and the scary. So it didn't put any ghosts, unfortunately, but it did make it creepy, and it took the lush vegetation and made it more winter-esque. Yes, and in fact, you can go through many iterations of a lot of different pictures and do stuff like that. You can work at it and change it and stuff. All right, so let's pick an interesting one here. It's the Celestial Observatory. So let's do an anime style one this time. Celestial Observatory. This is an artist I learned about the other day, Akira Toriyama. So let's put Mountaintop Observatory. Astronomical College University Planetarium Telescope. All right, and let's see. This one is hopefully, I don't know, it's a mountaintop astronomical observatory. I'm going to put steampunk in there as well. I had ChatGPT give me a list of things to make. All right, let's see what happens here. Well, it's an interesting picture. It's not what I wanted. I will have to describe the building. I imagined more of a round. That looks more like a Hobbit house. But we do have the Milky Way, and then I think that is Hubble Space Telescope floating in the sky. So let's put fantasy mountaintop. Fantasy RPG Astronomical Observatory Steampunk 1.2. Whoops. So let's see how that came out. So that one, obviously, it didn't understand it was a fantasy picture, so we'll make sure that we make sure we get that in there a few times. Let's try it once more. College University might be making buildings. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Well, closer. Oh, wait, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Here we go. This is the style, something like this. Interesting. Not bad. Okay. So let's make sunken ruins sounds interesting. So let's take a dark scene this time. This is an interesting prompt. I haven't used that many times. And then let's go ahead with the sunken ruins. Put that in the front for a minute. There's no character in here. Alright, let's check this one. This is of the ancient city submerged beneath the waves, dangerous sea creatures. Let's add some things. Corals. Deep sea. Ocean life. Ruins. Statues. So it didn't understand. So let's make sure. Undersea, underwater, ocean, scene in the background. We will let this one play out, though this one actually looks kind of cool. So sometimes you get an interesting picture that you might be able to use for something. That one's not bad. Let's try again. Oh, I see there's Aurora in here, which shouldn't be in here. Let's get rid of this. Oh, there we go. Now we can see the top of the water. Yes, let me show you. I'll show that next. Do you have a particular one you've found that you've liked the best out of any of the ones we've seen, Ludo Gemma? In a moment, I'll go to the image browser and you can select one. So here you can see it did put the water and the ruins. This one came out right, even though without auroras that wouldn't be there. So that's how I was getting confused. Any will do. Okay. Well, let's look. Let's go to image browser. Let's reload. I think I like that one. All right. So let's send that to extras. Okay, so here's where we're going to upscale it. Let's upscale it 3 times the size so my computer doesn't melt down. And upscaler 1, first we're going to try a standard upscaler. This is off, this is off, this is right. Now, different upscalers will add different types of details or different types of upscales to the picture. This one is taking quite some time. There we go. So now you can see that the picture is much more, it's huge, and it has much more detail than it did before. It probably has some changes. And you can also, for instance, I like to use this anime particular one. Okay, so what this one will do is this one will take a more an art style that is. I can. Luna Gem is asking for all the hard stuff tonight. All right, so let's see what this. Notice that this one here. See how much more anime this one looks. It's less detail, more. No, I'd love to do it. I like that. Okay, so let's say that let's send this to in painting. Okay, so let's go over here to the. Let's see what we can do. So let's go to only masked. This is gonna be 768, 768. This is 7. Okay. Oops, it's not the right one. This is. I want. Where's illustrative? There it is. Okay. Where's my Now this might work, or I might have to use Control Net. We'll see. But let's see. Some other stuff in there that got saved. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's just see what that basic, if this basic attempt, what it puts in there. It's trying really hard. Computer, it's struggling. Give it a moment. Okay. I think I'll probably stop it after one. Yes, you black out the area that you want to add something or remove something. And since this one looks like it's coming out okay, I'll interrupt it once it's done with the first one. So usually I do an 8 count, and then I go through and I see, but this looks like this will take 15 minutes, so I don't want it to take, I don't want to waste too much of the stream with that. That is a character I made yesterday, Madron. It looks like it also added in some other stuff. We'll see what it added in the tower. 91% on this first picture. Come on. 9,500. Okay. Oh, so there you could have seen, but so here he is. Oh, look, it even put a shadow where he was going to stand. That one came out good. All right, so thank you for that request. That example is actually excellent. That was excellent. Okay, so let's do one more. This one. All right, so what I need is a detailed sci-fi cyberpunk prompt. Let's see. Cyberpunk robot factory, flickering lights, AI overlords, robots, scientists. Let's put post-human scientists. What? Someone put 4K. We want that 8K. All right. Let's see how this one comes out. This robots, humanoid robots, flying robots. This one brought out a person for some reason. A cyborg girl. And this would be a case where I would definitely keep this picture. This picture came out really good. If you notice here. Come on, come on. All right, so let's send to extras. Let's upscale that one right there. You can. Although Girl and Robot Factory would have come out the same, I probably needed to increase the weighting of Robot Factory. So here is, I mean, you can see a little, that really brought out. Now the question is, what about her? Oh, no hands, so I don't have to hear complaints from the haters. No hands. So, looks kind of like a cyborg party girl who's like ready to go to a rave. All right, so I know that's what yes, exactly. All right, so now let's talk about, this is going to be a preview of my next stream. So far my two streams have been on RPG portraits and on RPG scenes. So the next one is going to be on photorealistic pictures. Crap, let's see, hold on. One moment. Okay. photo of a scenic mountain range. Blue skies and snow-capped peaks in the background. Forest, snow, logs. So by using some of these film, oh, 1 second. Absolute reality, here we go. So sometimes, instead of having something animated or illustrative, you'll want something more photographic. So as you can see here, this one looks a little more like a photograph. Or for example, one of my characters. Okay, she came out with clothes on, thank goodness. Forgot this needs NSFW and nude and always in the negative prompt. So here I would fix the eyes a little. I would just go in and I'll do that real fast, send it in Paint. Well, that didn't work. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay, so I would come over here and I'd be like, oh my gosh, look at those eyes. Something's going on there, right? So we're going to go like this. Right? And then I'm just going to go over here, only masked. This looks good. This looks good. We'll do a batch count of 3. That's a small area. That should be no problem. So usually when I do in painting, yes, you can. You can. It will match it up pretty well. And usually what I do is I do a batch of a few, so I can go, okay, well, let's see. Her eyes there or there. Third one. So this one would be my pick that I would check, that I would use. So that's how in painting fixes things. So. Okay, so that was just a sneak peek at the next stream, which is photorealism. But thank you for watching. When this is published on YouTube or on Twitch, feel free to ask any questions. And I hope you can get stable diffusion installed and get generating. Maybe I'll do a video on that installation and on some of the different extensions. I have quite a few extensions. Not all of them are on. Some of them didn't work right or whatever. So, and that I don't use. But yes, I have quite a few things that I've set up. So maybe I'll do a stream on that one day. But the next one will be on photorealism. All right. So, all right. Everyone have a good night.